Where's that? Welcome everyone to Latter Daily Digest and Post Mormon Project. It's Tuesday, I think, because Tim's
sure
here.
is.
And Tuesdays with Tim officially started, and we dropped the link already because we're just gonna chat about. We actually believe that. And we're going to talk about all the crazy rumors or other things that we were told about as Mormons.
Yep.
So, Tim, what do you have any early on ventures into?
Well, the blacks were fence sitters.
The what?
The Negroes were fence sitters.
Oh, yeah.
In the pre-existence.
Yeah, so you're starting off with a serious, a heavy hitter, something that.
Well, that's what
thousands and thousands of people.
I had black friends in school. This kid Marlon, I didn't realize at the time, but he was bused to my school. He's a friend. That's one of the first things I remember is being taught that. But I don't think I was taught it in Sunday school. I think it was just rumors people would say. And then there was the other one about.
Yeah, it wasn't in the manual, but somebody would say. Somebody would say it, right?
Yes, somebody would say it.
I was going to be lighthearted. I was going to say that I was told that the Moroni statue on the Salt Lake Temple was going to trumpet. It's going to come to life and trumpet when Jesus came.
Jesus came back. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
What up?
Hey, Dee. All
What's
right.
up?
Welcome.
Hello.
Yeah.
Randy made it.
Randy.
I've been here, but I was on the phone.
Okay.
With Sandy. Barnhart was dying, I guess. Wasn't on the phone with her, but I was arranging some services for her.
I guess you would know how to do that.
Yeah, I would. I'm pretty good.
It'd be like a 5-minute call if you were calling yourself, but since you had to deal with other people, it probably took longer.
Right? Exactly. And on top of that, I'm on my phone, but my computer just came back to life, so we're all good.
Okay. So you're going to hop off and hop on at some point?
Yeah, right now.
So yeah, Laura mentions the black issue. KD says, we believe that Joseph Smith saw God in Jesus. Yeah.
Are we live right now? We're live.
We are live.
We're
okay.
live.
I didn't know if we were backstage or not, so I just
noticed. Yeah. You would have been backstage.
See where it says live in the corner there?
Oh yeah. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, it's counting down.
It's all good. It's all good.
Hey, son.
We can get started.
Never here. Go ahead, Randy.
We can get started. I'll switch over as we're going.
Okay.
We're live right now.
Say something, Randy, that you were taught. That you say what?
Yeah. Well,
I can't believe I believe that.
You know, I have 1,000 of those. I just made a video about one of them. I was taught that tattoos were evil and that we were marring the temples that God gave us, and I'm just going to throw another one in there at the same time, that we shouldn't be cremated because God didn't want that. Right. But guess what? Now I don't think they're coming down on cremation anymore.
I think God is stronger now than he was back then. He couldn't resurrect ashes, but now he can.
Right?
He must be doing exercises or something.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Wow.
Diamond Dave, was there anything funky that you were told and you either believed it or you didn't believe it, but now you know for sure that it's not a thing?
Well, so this isn't so much doctrine as it's more like, I guess, it could be doctrine.
Link to
what happened? Okay.
Somebody has two tabs open.
Oh, okay. Sorry. One of the things was because like they knew I came from like a Hindu background and I practiced Hinduism. One of the things was you can keep your culture if you join the church. And I found out very quickly that you can't, because we all know the song, the hymn Praise to the Man, right? And because Joseph Smith, obviously restored the gospel, right? So coming from a Hindu background, I actually made an altar for Joseph Smith alongside other like gurus. Right.
Wow.
Like, so I had like a picture.
You were doing your culture.
Yeah, I had a picture of Sadhguru, I had a picture of Joseph Smith, and I had like a statue, like images of Kali, Mahakali, right? The Hindu goddess, right? Among others, right? And like the missionaries were very, very like, you can't do this. We don't do this. And I'm like, why do we praise him then? Right. Like, and it's like, and that was
like you were embodying that teaching. You're saying,
like, well, it's
this is the highest praise I can give this guy.
Exactly. And my whole thing was like, even if you like listen to like church apologists and Fair Mormon, and Tim can attest to this, right? I mean, to worship is to venerate Joseph Smith. Well, what did the early church leaders do? They venerated Joseph Smith. That's what I was doing, right? Like,
You know what, Dave? I had a thought. Maybe they were saying, you can keep your culture because you're probably going to need a backup plan when you find out this is a bunch of BS.
Maybe.
How about that?
I legitimately prayed to Joseph Smith, and I literally like, even when I would like sit and pray or meditate, I would literally like, it was almost like kind of the Christian, what would Jesus do? What would Joseph do? Right? Like that was kind of like my thinking at the beginning. And I showed Tim, I showed some of you guys like a blog article I wrote in 2021, a year after I joined the church, right? That was kind of my whole mentality. If Joseph Smith were alive today, what would he think about this? And I would like meditate and try and like embody that through Hindu traditions of like communing and things like that. But apparently that's not allowed.
I wonder if like some missionary a couple of years ago told somebody, yeah, you can keep all your crosses and just get baptized. It'll all be cool. And then finding out that crosses are okay. And you see him thinking, phew, I must have had a revelation. God is blessing me because I predicted that crosses would be okay someday. Just like somebody said that they convinced somebody that the blacks will hold the priesthood really soon. The people were getting revelations left and right. But it could have been that rumors were floating from headquarters.
Also, the whole, like, what was it? There was like things with the Heavenly Mother, right? Like, again, trying to pray to the Heavenly Mother. We're taught about her, but we're not allowed to pray to her. That was weird to me.
Right.
And then another thing I was taught was everything that comes from the church, like everything that the church does is divine revelation. So when the church goes from 3-hour sacrament meetings and Sunday school and under quorums meetings all quashed together, right, to 2-hour meetings, to 1-hour meetings, I actually fought against it. And when Jasmine Rapoli was doing her thing, she actually called me out and a couple other people out years ago, because I'm like, wait a minute. If this is a one true church of Jesus Christ, why are we not in church 12 hours a day? I was pushing for 12 hours a day and I got crucified in the comments because from that cultural and background and that belief system, if this is the true church, we should devote all of our time on Sundays, on the Holy Sabbath, to the church that Joseph Smith restored. But apparently not. Apparently God decided, well, 3 hours is a little much, 2 hours is good. But, as some people are complaining, so we'll just pilot some 1-hour sessions,
Yeah.
right?
When,
And for
when
me,
Tim
it's
was a
like,
kid, it
let's
was
do
5
divine
hours. It was 5 hours of church, and maybe you did an hour of home teaching, and you had an hour of other church meetings to go to.
Primary and mutual. Primary was 2 hours long on Wednesday afternoon, and mutual was about an hour and a half, 2 hours on Tuesday nights for us. So yeah. I mean, you get 8 or 9 o'clock priesthood meeting, and about an hour and a half, and then you had Sunday school another hour and a half, and then you had sacrament meeting, which was 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you had seminary.
That was a killer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
We didn't know it at the time.
Randy, we don't make any more money by having two of you on the show, so you're gonna have to take the other one out.
I kind of wanted to, have a
Admire your cartoon face more.
right.
Randy's just so much, he needs two of him to get around tonight.
That's right.
Are you calling me fat?
No.
Randy's half the man he used to be.
Literally, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, if Trevor is listening, Trevor, we had a mishap last week at the after show. Gene had to leave, and I was on my phone. I couldn't bring anyone into the studio, and when I tried to bring you on, you'd already left. But I wanted you to know that we weren't ostracizing you.
Yeah, I can attest to that because I was in the back room. There was a bit of chaos with trying to determine who could bring in who and how it would work, and then there were tech issues. So I can verify that.
Even I got kicked out for a bit and had to come back in. So
Gene had a date that he had to get to.
Yeah, so I can return a report on that.
Yeah, we want to report.
So my brother-in-law came into town, and he's TBM-ish, and he was heading back. He had a bunch of stuff from the estate that he was getting donated to his family, and they were about ready to head off. They had been furiously packaging things and packing up a trailer, and he had met with the bishop earlier that day and said, "Hey, can I dedicate the grave?" And I don't know why he needed permission, but he felt he did. So he had a good meeting with the bishop, and the bishop said, "Yeah, you go ahead and dedicate it." So 6 hours later, he says, "Okay, we should head off now, but let's go dedicate the grave first." And so, right as the show was ending, Michelle popped her head in and said, "Hey, Greg wants to go do a dedication of the grave." So I go, "Okay, I'll go." So then, while we're on our way there, my brother-in-law's family was in his car, and Michelle and I and my future ex-stepfather-in-law was in the car with us.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, write that down.
Okay.
And he right now is my ex-stepfather-in-law because my mother-in-law passed. But since he's still living in the house, I'm saying future because we haven't gotten rid of him yet. So anyway, as we're going, I may make a suggestion. It's Sunday night, but I figure it's almost dinner time, right? The show's over. What do I do, Randy, every time you see me?
You go for dinner and end up getting a huge bowl of ice cream adorned with everything on it you can imagine.
That's what I would normally do. But I suggested that we go to Olive Garden because Chuck from Monroe, Louisiana works there, and it's been on my mind. And also on my mind was a few months back, Michelle said, "Boy, wouldn't it be nice to have egg parmigiana sometime?" And I asked Chuck a couple of weeks ago, does Olive Garden do egg parmigiana? Sure enough, they do. So I recommended it, and then got my head chewed out for a little bit. And so, but then later on, everybody else got hungry too, and they said, "Okay, we'll break the Sabbath, and we'll go
Crème.
do that. And Michelle had egg parmesan, and I had something that was good. We were very pleased with our meal, and we had all the salad we can eat, and I ordered soup, and so all the soup I could eat, and that was sponsored. So this show is sponsored by Olive Garden. So
It's another thing
uh-huh.
not related to the Olive Garden, but related to the show. I was taught that modesty was like a very big thing. All right. And then I moved to Provo,
Yes.
Utah. And then all the girls are running around in bikinis. And not that I'm objecting, I'm just highly confused. Because
I get
like,
that.
Yeah, and it's like because, you know, I listen to like Laura songs and, you know, other women who are talking about how it's like you cannot show shoulders, you're like short sleeve wedding dresses and all that now. But when I got there, like all the influencers and a lot of girls at BYU and like their temple recommending holding members they're running around in bikinis in the summer, and I'm like, so like, what are we doing here, guys? Because like
It's Utah.
Yeah, so there's a thing. Like Tim and I were California Mormons. Randy was an Arizona Mormon, but that's kind of like the Morador.
Yeah.
But we'd always hear that the Utah Mormons didn't take the rules. They were only suggestions.
That's right. That's right.
Where in the mission field, it was like do or die. Just like Ruby says, that whatever the sin was, especially like if you committed suicide, it's like immediate ticket to hell.
Yeah.
But yeah, they don't
Funny
teach
you
that
should-
much anymore.
And
In that, Gene, can I just show you this? This is a book that I received in the mail today by a dear friend of mine in Utah. Her name is Arlene, and she. This is a book on suicide, and she said it's the best book she's ever read regarding
wow.
And
suicide.
does it say you go to hell if you commit suicide?
It's Where is Our Hope for Peace? A resource for Latter-day Saints coping with suicide. Now, she's not an active Latter-day Saint, but she said that the book was amazing.
Well,
Okay.
today, 53 years ago today, I went on my mission. I went to the mission home in Salt Lake City.
Wow.
Happy birthday.
Happy anniversary.
woo, happy birthday, Tim.
And it was my birthday Saturday. I'll be 72. But
That's right.
it's also my parents' wedding anniversary.
Someone's
Wow.
asking about
You were
you.
born on the same day as your parents' wedding anniversary, or today's your parents' wedding anniversary?
No, I went on my
Was
mission.
it a shotgun wedding? Is my question.
I don't think so. I don't.
In Mormonism, who knows? Flip a coin. You're probably right.
That's right. What do they say about it's a Mormon wedding if both the bride and the mother
are pregnant.
it's a Mormon shotgun wedding?
The mother and the bride are pregnant. Thank you. Thank you.
You'll also know it's a Mormon wedding when you see a pile of horse poop off to the side of the cultural hall. Or road.
Yeah.
You also know it's a Mormon wedding if it's held in a basketball court.
Yes,
That's right. Well, no, they hold. Yeah,
Okay.
usually they're held in the
Yeah.
Relief Society room. But
Well, the reception's in the basketball court.
yeah, receptions. My reception was
I would rather play basketball, actually.
For sure.
What I was trying to say is there's a pile of horse poop wherever the reception is. That helps keep the flies off of the bride.
Okay.
Right.
Ouch.
Right. Yeah, KD had her wedding reception in the best. So did I, in the chapel in Murray, Utah. Yeah.
Me too. We had to pay for our wedding too. There were
Your
no
mom
parents.
was married in the, wait, Songs. Your mom was married in the chapel? No. They don't marry in the chapel. That must have been something. Because usually Mormon weddings are in the
My mother-in-law got married in
Relief
the
Society
chapel.
room. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think if the bishop does it, it's okay.
No, it was policy that Relief Society room, no marriages in the chapel.
We had a
Well,
ring
things must-
ceremony in the Relief Society room.
Wow.
And that was like 10 times better than the temple wedding ceremony, which is like kneel down, look into a mirror, and say yes to everything an old guy
And
says.
hold their hand in the patriarchal grab.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know
it's
what
such a tender moment.
You know what else I was misled by was when I was in Mesa, the Mesa temple was rededicated. And so they had another open house and all that. And, we were all the youth, we were all excited about this story that was told that the temple president who lived not far from the temple looked out and saw the lights on in the temple. And the temple was supposed to be dark. No one was supposed to be in there. And he called President Kimball, who was here to do it. And he said, President, I think someone's in the temple. The lights are on. And he says, no, that's just Jesus Christ walking the temple to make sure that everything is ready to be dedicated. And I took that hook, line, and sinker. I must have repeated that story 1,000 times. I thought that was so cool. It's probably a security guard with a flashlight, is what it was.
Of course
right.
it was.
I
tell
actually
people-
have my wedding photos pulled up if you want me to share my screen.
Okay, share your screen. I tell people that the Mormon Jesus is like the janitor that cleans up after the party's over, after all you can do. And that's why Christians don't think that Mormons are. Jesus is very strong.
Yeah, that's interesting. So these are my wedding photos. We did not have a reception in a basketball court. This document is basically our marriage certificate. It's like a booklet and it's like a whole bunch of stuff in it. I wanted to share this for kind of.
Is that you on the right, Dave?
Yeah.
I can't tell which is which because you both have right here.
Yeah. So this is our wedding photo, and the reason why I wanted to share this because I know like Mormon weddings can be like very traumatic. I'm sharing this for comedic effect. So this is our wedding photo, and then our cat actually started photo bombing us in the background, and it took me a little bit. It took us a little bit to figure it out. But yeah, so these are some of our wedding photos where the cat literally just photo bombed us.
I'm digging that shirt.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
It looks
I still have that shirt. I've had that shirt for like 6 years. It's from Korea. I got it when I was
cool.
in Minnesota. I would use it to go to like nightclubs and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I wanted to share the photo bombing Siamese cat in the background.
Thank you. Love the cat. Love the cat.
Cats are always welcome. Especially
Cats are
cool
always
cats
welcome.
like Diamond Dave.
Like Beauty here.
Okay, Beauty as well.
She's
Trying to
right.
think,
See,
what
there's
else?
her tail. There's her tail.
So we were told
Jump
that Cain could be the what monster?
Cain could be the
Bigfoot.
or-
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot. I heard that.
because, well, Cain has been accused of being a lot of things because he was told by God, as we were taught, that he will wander as a vagabond upon the earth
On the earth.
until it goes away, until it ends.
Because he did put his foot in his mouth when he said, "Am I my brother's keeper?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have a hot take on that story because I heard about the Cain and Abel story too, and like the curse of Cain. And I now after experiencing Mormon the church, I can't help but wonder: when Cain killed Abel, did Abel actually have it coming, and it's just not in the Bible? Did the Mormon church just hide it from us?
Maybe.
Is Cain like a scapegoat?
Because Abel could have been going, "Ha ha, nanny, nanny, my sacrifice is better than yours."
Yes.
Well, what would we do had that not happened? We wouldn't have any people of color on the earth, according to the LDS doctrine.
But apparently they'd still be in heaven sitting on a fence.
So he's still a scapegoat, just in a different way. It had to happen so we could have people of color, basically.
It's like, and I'm kidding about that, but it's like
Yeah.
all these other things that, Satan tempted Eve and she committed this big sin by taking a bite of the fruit. Well, she was supposed to do that.
Yeah.
This is another thing. Growing up, my teachers always said, God knows our minds. He knows what we're going to do before we even know.
Exactly.
So if he knew, how does anyone get punished if they are on the earth and meant to do something? They were
Yeah.
preordained. Is there preordination? Because it doesn't seem like it to me, but that's what we were taught. Now,
Yeah.
are we going to discuss some of these things like the tattoo thing? Do
Go
you
ahead.
guys know? Does anyone know? Is it
We could
still
discuss it.
taboo?
I don't think
no,
so.
it is not.
Well,
No, it's not. I could say that with firsthand experience from being in Ward Radio. A lot of them have tattoos. In the Discord.
no.
Who's that Mormon girl with the blue hair from Saints Unscripted? And she's got like tattoos. She's a convert. She's got like tattoos
Yeah.
all the way down. That's not like there are Mormons when I was living in Provo, Utah. They got tattoos, right? Now, granted, they didn't do some of the more tribal or more quote demonic looking tattoos, but like I have seen a lot of temple recommend holding men and women hold more, have tattoos. Some of the ladies have like one of them had a butterfly tramp stamp, just like a cute little butterfly tramp stamp that you could like see when her shirt righted up, and you could see the garment above it too, which was kind of funny. But it's not. Yeah, you could see the garment and the tattoo at the same time.
I had, when I was Elders Quorum president, one of my counselors was Hispanic, and he was covered from head to toe in tattoos.
I like tattoos, and I would like to get one. I don't know. It's hard when it's permanent. It's hard to decide. Because I was going to have my little Momo on there.
Yeah.
But if I'm getting rid of that character.
I mean, look at all the veterans who got tattoos during the war. Like Brother Bound, Bishop Irv Bound was a Marine, and he had tattoos. Could see his tattoos. And, don't get well, here's Brother Bound. He was the bishop in a ward. He was at Camp Pendleton for a long time, and he had tattoos. How can you say don't get them when the bishop has got them?
Right.
Yeah.
I think they backed off of that too, partially because of the younger generation, my age and younger. We don't care, and if you want to keep us at all saying no tattoos, that's going to add more problems than the church already has. But also too, like with what Tim and what Randy's saying, it's like, I mean, even people who served in the war in like World War II, right? I mean, they were let in the church. Converts from World War II, Vietnam, they had tattoos. They were let in.
I wonder if Monson has a tattoo because he was in the Navy, and 90% of the guys that served in the Navy got tattoos. Everybody I knew.
He probably said mom, his tattoo, or maybe somebody else's mom.
Everybody I know whose father served in the Navy or the Marines, they all had tattoos. And then they had the thing about earrings, remember? So only so many piercings, 1, 2, 3, 4, one is good. Hi, Laura. And you can only have one, and then 2 and 3 and 4 is not good,
Do nipple piercings count?
Oh, those are no also.
Oh, really?
Only if they're in the shape of a compass or a square.
Yeah.
That was a simple joke.
I'm genuinely curious on that because that is pretty common among people my age and younger is to get like their nipples pierced. And it's like, does that technically count towards the ear piercings? Because from what I remember, the ear piercings, it's like you can only have one if you don't want to have more than one.
Let's
like
see
if
what
no one can see it.
Let's see what the handbook says.
Oh, you got the handbook handy.
Hang on.
Look up the section on titty piercings.
This is why I'm here, guys, to drink beer and talk about titty piercings.
I got
That's
a
Dave.
warning.
I'm with you with the drinking beer. I never drink, so if I sound a little out of it, that's why. It's technically against my religion, but I'm doing it.
What religion forbids beer?
Well, all alcohol, Islam.
Okay. I guess, okay, that makes sense, yeah.
I don't pray 5 times a day either, but
No, that's fair.
while Tim's looking it up, I have one thing to add. I've tried to rarely call into the shows. I'll call into the after shows, but I don't want to derail the show because I rarely have anything to add because I'm a Nevermo. I do have one thing to add. I grew up with a lot of Mormons. One guy in high school I was attentive. I listened to him telling me about Mormonism. He eventually, when he was on his mission and I was in my first year of college, got advised, put my name down as someone who'd be interested in the missionary discussion. So I took those for a while. I actually liked the idea that Jesus came to South America for a while. I was never Christian. My mom's Catholic.
Oh,
But-
crap. My phone's going off. Yeah.
Laura,
Yeah,
can I tell you something personal?
sure.
You begin this conversation by saying that you don't have anything to add, and I want to strongly disagree with that. You're an integral part of the show and the after show, and we love you, and you have all kinds of very valuable things to add.
Brandy, I appreciate that, but I'm kind of co-opting it from people whose real experiences these
You
are.
could tell us if you believed crazy things about Mormons, like if we had
No.
horns.
I didn't believe that.
Hello, how does everybody know?
Gene,
Oh
you
my
have
God,
to tell
that
Chuck
was
about
loud.
Olive Garden.
That
Well,
was
he
loud.
can. Chuck, listen to me 10 minutes ago.
She went to
I just-
Olive Garden because of you, Chuck.
I also sent Chuck
Okay.
pictures.
Yeah, I saw that. Thanks for the pictures. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's great. That's great for the business.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Black Priesthood's here too. Hey, Black Priesthood.
Hey, Black Priesthood. Hey,
Good evening, Tim.
hi, Chuck. Hey, Black Priesthood. If you're gonna do a thing on Cain,
Can you hear me?
Good evening,
Yeah.
Dave.
Yes.
yes, yeah, you need
you all hear
to
me?
go. You need, yeah. Can you hear me?
Oh, how you doing, Black Priesthood? How are you doing?
Hello.
Hello.
All
Black
right.
Priesthood,
Black
can you hear-
Priesthood, can you hear
Tim?
I
us?
need to go out and come back in.
Okay.
Body piercings. Latter-day Prophets strongly discourage the piercing of the body except for medical purposes. If girls or women desire to have their ears,
Girls or women?
yeah, girls or women.
Oh, really? So
What about tits? Because we talked about tits.
Well, they don't. It doesn't get that specific. They discourage
So
body
fair
Vicious
piercings.
to whack off after
You
seeing the
came in
word.
on the perfect time, Chuck. What about
Yeah, I just got
tits?
finished. I just got finished eating. I spent some time with my father, and he, now I was able to join you all in progress. We had a meal.
You can join us for some tits, Chuck.
Titty.
I need some humor after a day of work.
the
Okay.
the proper
Black
term
Priesthood's back. So
is Winnebagos.
let's ask
Oh,
Black
Black
I'm
Priesthood.
I'm sorry to Randy's point. Let's use a proper term. Mammaries.
No, Winnebagos.
Mammaries.
Bazoombas. No, tits is fine. I have nothing against tits.
Okay, let's let Black Priesthood talk.
Our theme today, Black Priesthood, is and I know your name, but we call you this because that's what you identify as. Our show today is on myths. We're doing a myth busting show. Things that you thought were true about the church, but you now aren't sure if that was a myth or if it's a real thing. I just learned about piercings. It's funny, men and women and girls, they don't even mention men. Guess what? We can pierce. I'm going to get pierced tomorrow.
We
And
have
I'm not-
nipples.
What if I want my tits pierced?
I have
Yeah.
nipples, but they're about the size of a dime. They're just tiny. They wouldn't.
They're
wouldn't work.
discouraged
Blah, blah,
except
blah.
for medical purposes. Remember that.
I'll have to go
Okay.
with the.
Let's Black Priesthood. Can you say something?
Yeah, can you all hear me?
There
I
you
Yes.
can hear you.
Yes.
Hello, everybody. So one of the things that I learned is that I would be resurrected in the white skin. I just wanted to jump on. I know the network might not be the best, but I would be resurrected. I would be resurrected. Yeah,
Yeah, resurrected.
into white skin.
That's right.
Ugh.
I wouldn't recognize you. That happened.
That's
Black
strange.
priesthood?
Yeah, I think the network.
Black priesthood,
Yeah.
did you ever actually internalize that and believe that?
Did I believe it?
Yeah.
Is that? Yeah, of course. I mean, I was so naive and so trusting. Everything that the sorry, I'm on a walk here by the airport. Everything that I was told, everything that the prophet made, everything the bishop, the stake president said, of course I believed it. You know,
I did too.
no
I
questions
think all of
asked.
us
If they give me a bad time, go ahead.
I think all of us believed it. Black priesthood.
Yeah,
The
Gene-
damage,
Him.
the self hatred, and the damage.
oh my God, the self-hatred. And to be convinced, I let myself get pressured into going out on a mission to teach other people the same self-hatred. That is what kind of pisses me off. Sorry for the foul language.
No,
But that's
that's
what,
No,
It's okay.
no.
yeah, that is what I think is so insidious about this church. Is convincing, taking the best of us, all of us, our good nature, our trusting nature, repackaging it and convincing us to go out and teach others the same faulty, vile doctrines. So imagine me going out on a mission and teaching other black folks, because I served in Los Angeles, uh, the vile doctrines to hate themselves.
That's
And,
right.
that if they're lucky, if they are faithful, they will be resurrected into white skin.
That's ridiculous.
We had to
That's
show a
actually
couple.
something I heard in Provo, where a lot of returned missionaries from 2020 to 2024, when I was a member of the church, a lot of white missionaries wanted to go back to South America or Africa to like get married and help those women become white. So
Yeah.
that actually makes sense.
Oh,
Oh Lord, that's
I
boy,
was
I
in
looked
Haiti.
at them like they were nuts because I was a convert. I'm like, are you stupid? Like, that doesn't even make sense, like, genetically, let alone, like, what are you talking about?
I was engaged
I have
to
a-
a Navajo woman who thought that, and so she wouldn't go out in the sun. She kept a parasol all the time
Yeah,
because she thought she
Yep.
was going to turn white because of her righteousness. And she's dead now.
I
But
have,
yeah,
I have a TikTok buddy who he's African American. He served as a bishop, and it is not my story to tell, but he shared a story just to put some context. I'm gonna relay a little bit of it. If he ever comes back into the public domain, he can share his story. But he said because of the doctrine, he didn't want to marry a black woman. He's obviously African American because he didn't want to pass the cursed seed to his children.
oh no,
That
yeah,
is
the curse.
that is the vile. That is the manifestation of how vile this doctrine is. How it messes people up so bad.
Well, Black Priesthood, I remember you telling me that you had a hard time finding dates because
Oh
of
yeah,
the church had taught about people of
Yep.
color. which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
unmitigated bullshit. I'm sorry, but
Oh
It
no,
it's
is.
it is, Randy. You're right.
yeah.
People
Imagine
get 5 and they start
traveling.
aging immediately. That doesn't happen to most black people.
Yeah, black
Mhm.
don't crack, right?
Is it
But
black
yeah,
don't
No,
crack?
and I
imagine.
know that that's a stereotype. I know it is, but I have yet to
I'm fine.
see. I really have yet to see a black person the same age as a white person who looks as old.
That's
Uh,
why people think I'm
but
young. I'm 50
I
years old.
know.
I'll be 51 in November.
You look like a
Chuck, I didn't know that until you told
Good
us a
grief,
couple weeks
Jack.
ago. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
You
yeah.
don't
Doug
even look
look
a
like
day over 30.
5. Yeah.
you know what I think looks really cool is hang on, I'm sorry, I have to cough. You know what I think looks really cool is when a black guy has a gray beard.
Mm,
I think
yeah.
that's a cool look.
Yeah.
I like
What
it.
And
about
it's
the
not
bald head?
wide.
No, bald head is fine.
All right.
Yeah.
Italian
But
crap.
imagine straddling a world where you don't fit. I think W.E.B. Du Bois calls this the double consciousness. The
Yeah,
Yes.
battle, the
we were just
conflict
talking about this. Yeah,
that you are dealing with, the struggle of ever trying to fit into a world where you're not accepted.
yeah,
That is where, you know, when I came into the church, it was this, not really being able to fit. I couldn't fit with my black folks because my doctrine had changed. I had committed my life to this church. I can't fit with white folks because I'm a descendant of Cain. So who do you marry, right? Who do you like?
yeah,
How do you form friendships? And it wasn't just relationships, but business partnerships.
yeah.
Um, lifelong friendships. Really building a community. That doctrine was so vile. I was talking with some friends, and you should hear the stories from the early black members, at least right after the priesthood, whose parents either joined the church and they were born into the church, or they joined the church themselves. The stories are just so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Uh, it's not my stories to tell. I hope someday all of them will get on a panel and commiserate and share these stories. But uh, comments, the microaggressions, the comments in Relief Society and Priesthood. Um, so Ezra Taft Benson, while he was
Oh
a stake
Oh
man,
president,
boy.
while he was a stake president in Washington D.C., there were
Dunbar
a couple of
Society members. Yeah,
African American
Exactly.
sisters that the membership wrote to Salt Lake and asked if these sisters would sit in the back, so they don't get to sit in the middle of, amongst the white members.
I have that quote actually. I have it written down. Uh, I'll
Yeah,
find I'll find it while y'all talk because it's just disgusting. I've read it
yeah,
before on
everything
that.
he said was disgusting.
Well,
From looking at all the quotes, he
The
talked bad
yeah,
about
I
Martin
mean,
Luther King.
to Black Priesthood's point, so this is the first time I saw Black Priesthood, and it's a pleasure to meet you, by the way, because I've seen you
thank
on
you. Thanks for
Mormon
having
Stories and
me.
stuff. Yeah, so yeah, it's a pleasure to meet you. I live in Mongolia, right? And I travel internationally, and it's interesting to your point. It's because, like, when white people, white Americans specifically, go to Africa or they go to Mongolia or they go anywhere else, they're front and center always. Right. I've even seen pictures of like the
Yeah,
YSA or whatever here in Mongolia where like someone from the church comes to speak, they're white American. They put them front and center first. Now,
yeah, yeah,
now it is
Yeah,
tradition in Mongolia to honor guests who travel from far away. However, that looks to me, having lived here and married to a Mongolian woman, it's very obvious to me that the church isn't like accepting that honor of, oh, these Americans traveled from so far. It's literally they're putting them front and center to be like, this is what you should be. That looks very
yep,
different than tradition because
yeah,
traditionally those who are honored are not put in front of us or like in front of Mongolians, we sit among them.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a key difference. They're not in front, we're among.
Here is the comment that I think that you're probably talking about, Black Priesthood. If the
Mhm.
white sisters feel
Fuck.
that they may not sit with them or rear them, or excuse me, if the white sisters feel that they can't sit with them or near them, we feel very sure that if the colored sisters were discreetly approached, they would be happy to sit at one side or in the rear, somewhere where they would not wound the sensibilities of the poor white complaining sisters. We will
Let
rely
that.
we will rely upon your tact and discretion to work this out so as not to hurt the feelings on the part of
Yeah.
anyone. I think that
Right.
hurts feelings.
Not to hurt
The
the
means
feelings, the
of
comfort of the whites. Not to hurt the
yeah.
comfort of the whites. That's the only
That's right.
people they care about.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's what happened. They happened to Jimmy Carter. That's how he ended up leaving the Southern Baptist Convention while he's president of the United States. Had a black guy. I think the Republicans put this black guy up to go to his church, his home church in Plains, Georgia, and the way they treated the black guy was badly, and it got a lot of media attention, and the Carters soon left that church. They ended up becoming a part of another alliance of Baptists. They're a progressive Baptist faith, and they got out of the Southern Baptist Convention during that time.
I think socially,
This convention wasn't always as racist as it is. There was a meeting, I think it goes back even farther, where Jimmy Carter. This is a, you know what? This doesn't matter. I'm sorry, and I'm taking away from the conversation at hand. Sorry,
Oh.
guys.
It's okay.
no, oh no. So it's one thing. I think we can expect, you know, racism in society, bigotry, and what have you, socially,
Yeah.
right? What is so damaging is when it is ensconced and canonized in scripture as what God and how God sees all of us.
Right. What
That
God
is
wants.
the worst thing to tell them that. And when you look at this doctrine, it isn't just in the present existence. When you study this doctrine, it goes back to less valiancy in the
Exactly.
pre-existence. So what it's saying is that you were not good enough in the pre-existence. You're not good enough here because obviously you inherited this dark skin. And if you're so lucky, what did oh was it? I can't remember the leader now, but he said, you know, when you're resurrected, when black folks are resurrected, they will be serving as servants in
Probably
the next.
Dyer. Probably Eleanor
Yeah,
Dyer.
exactly. Yep. So you were not good enough in the pre-existence. You're not good enough here, and you will not be good enough. Imagine indoctrinating that to not just black members, but it gives permission to white members to treat black members like dirt.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I mean, even
Yeah.
logically, that doesn't make sense because, like, if you look at the Mormon afterlife, as a male, I am a god of my own planet. And as a woman, if my wife were Mormon, she would be responsible for being the spirit, producing spirit babies to populate that planet. Why would I need servants if I am a god of my own planet? And my wife is populating that planet. What would I use these servants for? It doesn't
Go
even
get
make
coffee, run to get coffee, run to get, carry out.
Yeah.
sense. To send messages to
what's
Randy
But that
using
is
having-
their planets, I
What's
guess.
use of having God powers if you can snap and you can't use them because you have servants?
But then you're not
That is
God.
how vile it is, right? Is that they didn't think about this logically, like Diamond did what you just said, right? They didn't bother to think about the logical conclusion if this makes sense or not. It
And
was
here's
you
the
don't
thing.
belong here.
To Black Peaster's point, they didn't think about it logically. And here's the thing. I did not actually know. I learned this just now, 10:53 a.m. here in Mongolia. I just learned this now that black people would be like, resurrect or reincarnate, whatever you want to say, as servants. I just found out about this now. And that's my one question. If I'm a god of my own planet with a wife who's populating it, why do I need a servant? I am a god.
Well, and along with what Dave is saying, it's all about, do you have it in your blood? Do you have one drop of African black in your blood? Was how it came out first. But guess what? In the afterlife, we don't have blood. We're just resurrected skin and bones. There's no blood circulating through us. And I guarantee to you that people of color are not going to carry their color up to heaven. That's just ridiculous. We won't carry our color. I'm not going to be this color. If we're going to be energy light, that's what we are. There's not energy.
This just reinforces my personal experience coming from Hinduism and converting the church, right? And going back to Hinduism. This is just a form of the caste system, except it's poorly thought out. And it's all based on skin color for some reason.
Yeah, there's always
It's
caste
really all
in
it
these
is.
religions.
It's just like
Yeah.
it's like a caste system for white people.
That's what it is.
Right.
You know
What gets me is that the only unpure breed of people is white Europeans because they bred with Neanderthals.
What?
That's the only no, it's true. Look at a lot of white people, white Europeans' DNA. There's
So that just
Neanderthal
ties in with
DNA.
a conversation though, because like the concept of blood purity doesn't hold
Exactly.
up to, like,
It's
logic.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But I'm saying by the same qualifications.
I see.
If you want to talk, exactly. It's bullshit. But I'm saying if you want to use those qualifications, then white Europeans are the least pure.
When I was in
it does.
I went to a school named Powell Junior High in Mesa. It was brand new. We were the first class to enter in. And when we entered in, we were all assigned a number: 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. 5 was special ed. 1 was the smart people. So when they say all the ones get to go on the field trip, I just couldn't believe that they were doing this, because those ones, I was a 1 simply because I'm good with bullshit, especially in school. But I just couldn't imagine. And the 2s, they're close. The 3s and the 4s, I can't believe
They
that
isolated other kids.
And it carried through all through their junior high and high school. That
they isolated kids.
The inferiority complex that they received being a 1 through junior high.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. And that stuck with them. I can just imagine.
I thought in my yearbook. My yearbook's like elementary school. Yeah.
The stigma of saying this crap about black people and anyone who doesn't have pure white skin. It's embarrassing. And that's one of my main platforms on YouTube and on TikTok is this racial issue. It's just, if they would just say they're sorry, they apologize, and they realize what damage they've done, oh my gosh, I would think that was wonderful.
And they equated blackness as a wait. They equated blackness as a disability. And that's what KD's saying. That they used to say disabled people were less righteous in the pre-existence.
Yeah,
we started this discussion talking about Mormon myths, and look where we ended up.
Well, yeah, it's
on point. It's on point.
There's no more pernicious myth.
But I'm just saying, look where we ended up. This is the biggest
I used to believe
issue.
in the Book of Mormon.
This is the biggest issue of Mormon mythology. There isn't any bigger issue than that.
So I want to gently push back on Randy's point, because I love and respect Randy. I really do. I want to gently push back on Randy's point.
Be gentle with me, Dave.
I will. And that is apologizing important? Yes. Is making changes important? Absolutely. We are in agreement. However, as white people, the damage that has been done to people of color and people who are disabled, who have different abilities, and the LGBTQ for centuries, I would argue there is no apology for that. How do you apologize for the damage that has been done? Because the Mormon Church teaches atonement, which is not just saying you're sorry, but it teaches making amends. How do we, as white people, make amends for the damage that has been done to marginalized groups for centuries? How do we do?
We can't, Dave. But
yeah, and I mean that's my gentle pushback. That's it.
An apology would be a start to let them know that we're humble enough to admit we were wrong. Black people and LGBTQ and women all have the same authority as any other human being when it comes to God's love for them. And you know, the Mormon
Church. Maybe it's not a pushback. Maybe it's just an agreement in saying, but there's not really enough. It's not enough. Right. Like the apology is not enough. Maybe it's not a pushback. Maybe I misarticulated
when you're
that.
Teaching people and they internalize that they want to be white, there's something evil about that. There's something beyond evil about that. I mean, you should be proud no matter. There's something so evil about that.
My adopted daughter.
Isn't there some doctrine? Oh, go ahead. I was just going to say, isn't there some doctrine that says in Mormonism that a servant who is compelled in all things is a slothful servant? If the church is forced, if the church is forced and compelled to make an apology, is it really an apology? I think that there's a certain length of time where an apology is effective, right? But if they've resisted to apologize and to heal this wound, and they're now compelled because so many members are leaving, is it really an apology? I would say not. No.
Exactly.
It's too much control.
It certainly won't suffice for sure. It's not. It's you know. It's too late to just give words. But
of course.
And if they do say this, it goes against their doctrine, and it means they're prophets or false prophets. So they probably will never apologize.
They're probably stuck in this position. We've talked about that. They're probably stuck in this position where they've doubled down for so long, right? Because it's like when it comes to like public relations, there is a time to double down, but there's also a time frame, and we've seen this with companies and corporations. There is a time frame where if you actually seek to make amends and atone for what you did, that's fine, and you can continue on, and it's good, right? That's fine. But because it's been over 150 years, I don't know if they can actually do anything at this point. I think they've actually put themselves in a position where they've doubled down so much that any apology is going to be just damage control. It's not going to be sincere. And they put themselves in a position where they're outside of the time frame where they can make an atonement for it. Because like literally
they had a B1 conference 8 years ago.
But I mean, like, well, hold on a second. But to my point, like, for instance, like Brigham Young, like we have Joseph Smith. Okay, Brigham Young did a lot of bad things. If the next 3 prophets after Brigham Young spend time atoning for atoning for that,
soon enough.
Well, here's the thing. The next 3 prophets after Brigham Young atoned for it, we could at least make a case that, okay, the church would be fundamentally different today, obviously, right? But they didn't. They decided to just double down, and it's a good old boys club where they just had each other's back, right?
2 years ago,
had they not done that in the beginning, it would be fine.
2 years ago, they put a statue of Green Flake in the This Is the Place monument. So see how far they've come?
Or Jane Manning James.
Propaganda.
A painting of Jane Manning James in the Salem Temple.
That's the saddest story.
That's just propaganda, though.
been a wife. She should have been allowed to go into the temple and be sealed as a wife of Joseph Smith.
Yeah. I
Her
mean, a lot of it's
descendants
just
were at the
propaganda,
statue
though.
thing, the statue unveiling for her statue.
Well, Sandra
what's
Tanner said that. I think Sandra Tanner said she goes to like temple open houses, and now they'll have more pictures of African Americans, but nothing else has changed. They're trying to seem more progressive without changing anything else. And Dave, you're right. If Brigham Young, if they had immediately repudiated the nonsense and horror that he had spouted, that would have been one thing. I remember you telling us, I think last week, about companies taking responsibility and that actually doing better for them. But they didn't do that. They doubled down until Kimball. They doubled down. It's the one instance where I think if Joseph Smith had lived, the church would have been a much better off.
Well, yeah, for sure. And I mean, like, even to the doubling down part, like, sure, there does come to a point on doubling down on what you believe. However, you have
It's
to
just
pick
prejudice. Is it a belief or is it a worldly prejudice?
Well, let me finish my point, because you're like
Sorry, Dave.
You're a step ahead of me. You're saying what I'm about
Sorry,
to, and
Dave.
that is pick what hill you want to die on. If I was like if I could be reincarnated as like the next 3 Mormon prophets after Brigham Young, the hill I would die on is not race, but that Joseph Smith restored the church, and that we should focus on the teachings and like kind of the folklore of what it means to be Christian that includes everybody without race. I would die on that hill, because that's in my opinion, that's a much stronger hill to die on. And even though it's based on folklore and magic, in 2026, if you were to look at me dying on that hill, that's a much better case than looking back at 2026 and saying Brigham Hill wanted to die on the hill of race, right? So I'm setting up not just a theology, but from a basic marketing 101 standpoint,
Restoration.
I'm setting the stage where it looks good to future generations. I'm doing both at the same time. Go ahead.
That's a point,
exactly.
Chuck, you have their question up? Your hand up?
Yeah, I have a question to y'all on this topic about blacks and the LDS. I remember he's written books. Is he still living? Darius Gray, is he still around?
Yes. Yes, he is. He's part of the Genesis group. Rebecca, do you know who Rebecca Biblioteca is?
I know. I just know about him. I know Darius Gray. I know about
He's
Darren
written.
Smith and all those
He's
people.
written.
He
on his book.
Rebecca Biblioteca was part of. Darius Gray was a founding member of the Genesis group. And Rebecca Biblioteca, she has the podcast Mormon. She actually sang in the Genesis choir. The Genesis group is really awesome. It's not typical Mormon, and I'm surprised that the Mormons allow it to exist.
Yeah, Gladys Knight has a group there in the faith, and I saw them. I saw a video of them. They performed at the conference center.
The HB
Darius
conference
Gray
where
is writing
said,
Darius Gray is promoting a play about Joseph Smith.
Okay.
It's a rap kind of. I call it a minstrel show about Joseph Smith. And that's how I see it.
What is the Genesis group? I'm sorry. I don't know.
Black group.
It's a black group that is allowed to worship with traditional Black American values and expressions.
It was like a fireside every Sunday at like 5 or 6 p.m. or something in Salt Lake.
But now it's expanded a little bit more.
And are they LDS?
Yes, originally LDS. it was so that the blacks could be in their wards, and then that every Sunday evening they would meet somewhere in Salt Lake, and the general authority would come and tell them how proud they were of their commitment to the church, even though they couldn't have the priesthood and stuff like that. And it was just
Yeah.
kind of weird.
It's just segregation.
Yeah.
Segregation.
It was
That's all it
just
is.
segregation.
It's
It's
just
more
segregation.
now. If you look at video of it, it's more now. And it's basically the only way the church is going to survive. But it was segregation. The church thrived off
Yeah.
of racial hatred.
That's all
The
I saw.
U.S.
Segregation.
government should have stepped in way sooner with BYU.
Yeah, because I know you don't want to lose.
I don't mind. I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it if people were informed. If you know, I'm wearing that level Cain curse, descendant of Cain, proudly because of it nearly destroyed me. I've survived. I've come through on this side from that psychological damage. So I own that now. But
Yeah.
if the church shared the truth about its history and doctrine, and the Genesis group, I love them, and I'm glad that the church works for them. It baffles me. The question that I have is how do they know this history, this doctrine, and all of the uh, prophetic, scholarly member statements underpinning this doctrine, and they still find the strength and the courage to stay? I have a lot of
I
respect for
know.
that, whether it is not on their part or just ignorance or the deep need to belong. I get it. It is so difficult for me to understand how somebody can want to be a part of something so vile. If I had a chance at all, if I would put on the fireside and ask them questions, this would be my question: is how do you manage to reconcile how terrible this doctrine is and the membership in it?
Black
Great
Priesthood, I
question.
asked the same question of
Yeah.
songs of our own. She gave an
Mhm.
eloquent, beautiful answer, and I, because I asked the same thing, who would stay in a group that was so prejudiced and racial? But I think the answer she gave
Great
me,
question.
it was a good answer about how, her mom has a history with it, and people are sometimes afraid to leave, I think, because they believe the prophet when he
Mhm.
said that that's why they're black. And
Well,
travesty.
yeah, and I think it's even more interesting to me because this is something that I've noticed, right? So if for people in the United States, if you read the documents of other cultures, the way things are worded in books and religious texts emphasize importance. And when we see Brigham Young talking about a man who, like a white woman who marries a black man and they should be like speared and killed, that is visceral. And to
Oh
me,
yeah.
Yes,
that is
it
very
is.
Yep.
and that is very interesting because that is not a simple discouragement, right? As
Yep.
someone from a Hindu background and living in Asia, that is a call to action. You don't say something so viscerally if you're discouraging people. You are literally inciting an action.
And
Yeah.
showing your true
Yep.
colors, showing that
Exactly.
has nothing to do with religion. This is
Yeah, it's not Jesus Christ.
no,
Exactly.
It
Right.
is not.
To Randy's point, you're showing your true colors because there are cultures around the world where we prefer if you marry someone of your same culture. Okay, it's a preference, but it's not worded in such a visceral, violent way resulting in death. That doesn't happen, right?
It's
And
still wrong, but you're absolutely right, Dave. It's not on the same league.
yeah, it's a whole different ball game when he starts telling the members that it's okay to kill. But
No.
you
Yeah,
know,
that's
that example
not
of
Christian.
the Book of Mormon. You know,
I saw a beautiful video on Instagram the other day, and I
That's my problem
hate
with
saying
evangelicals.
this. I hate saying this, but the Pope was in an African country. Africa is the second largest continent. I should know what country he was in. I'm ignorant, and I'm
You know, Pope,
probably racist,
Pope's
and
family
that's
came
why I
from
don't
slavery.
know. He
Pope's
bowed
family came from
before a
Okay.
slavery.
Black Madonna, and it was
Wow.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his family's from Louisiana, from New Orleans. He was born and raised
Yes,
in
they are.
Chicago. Yeah,
But
he comes from
he's
his family's in slavery. Yeah,
he comes from a white passing family.
yeah, yeah.
But he
It is
bowed
interesting.
before a Black Madonna, and it was beautiful because
I know that Gene is going to probably bring this up based on the comment by JoJo, but we are doing a show this week on where the Native Americans really came from, the DNA.
oh God, that's
Oh, okay.
another.
The Gospel Topics essay on the DNA,
Right.
Book of Mormon and the DNA.
Strip
Dr.
them of
You
their
know-
culture.
Dr. Murphy's going to be on it.
Oh wow. I will definitely log on. You know,
Hmm.
I was part of a panel
Yeah, I want to log on to that too.
that
Black priesthood.
and people. Yeah. Oh, thank you for watching that. Yeah, and we're just
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of sharing our experiences as Black and African American Mormons.
I
And
enjoyed that one.
so many people have reached out. Thank you. So many people have reached out. There's one of the comments is from a Latin person. I think that's still okay to say, because I don't want to offend anybody. But
Yeah,
he shared his experience about how the church also impacted him as a person of color, and he would have loved to be on that panel. I'm saying all of this to say that there's so much pent up um, need for. It would have been great if there was an apology earlier, but people want to talk about this because it is so devastating, not just for Black people, the cursed tribe, but other groups who were disenfranchised and minimized and uh, dehumanized in Mormonism.
Well,
So, yeah, this American panel is going to be great. I'm looking forward to that.
to Black Priesthood's point real
Priesthood.
quick, I want to jump in because there's in India, it's not just when you join Mormonism, you are disenfranchised. Many cultures, if you join Mormonism, like Mormonism destroys marginalized people even after they leave. Perfect example. In
Yes.
India, there are converts, there are Hindu converts in India that join the Mormon church. Now, here's the problem. The Indian government provides Dalits, tribals, and other disenfranchised peoples called OBC status. They give them government handouts. But
Mm.
if they join the Mormon church or they become Christian, they are not Hindu, they don't have a caste. So they lose those government benefits. So those Hindus lose their government benefits, like in Haryana. But they
Wow.
find out the church is false. So what do they
Yes.
do? Because if they leave the Mormon church, they have no government benefits. They have no support.
Yeah.
The community disowns them. So that's another way, too, as one example, that the Mormon church destroys people is because, I mean, that's how governments work, right? I mean, I'm assuming it's similar in other countries, but I know from firsthand experience, having been to India and lived in India, that people who convert to Christianity and Mormonism in general, they lose government benefits, they lose community support. So what happens to those people when they find out Mormonism is false? They are screwed.
Yeah.
They have nowhere to
So
go.
not just physically, right?
Yeah.
Most of the time, as Mormonism spreads across the world, it is converting people from other religions. And when you convert, it actually separates you from your family. In fact, I remember as a convert, white members telling me, admiring what courage I had to convert from Catholicism and to join Mormonism. They actually pat you on the back and they love bomb you for converting. So here's the thing: is that you're leaving your community, and nobody thinks about the community that you're leaving. Imagine as a member now, when you leave, your friends, your family ostracize you, and they might as well shun you and write you off. But when you're converting from other religion, the same thing happens, right? You're losing a community, and if you go to the temple and you make these covenants that you cannot discuss with anybody, imagine going out and making such severe covenants and you can't discuss it with anybody in your life. No family, unless your whole family joins, they may have a conversation with you. But if none of them join, in my case, like who the hell do I talk to about this severe covenant that I have made? I have nobody to talk to about this.
Well, or the word of wisdom, perfect example. Here in Mongolia, tradition, when I married my wife, I moved from America. Tradition is I buy my wife, I buy my wife's mother alcohol, right?
Get your mother-in-law
father's deceased, but it's alcohol, right? And during holidays like Saransa, the Lunar New Year, neighbors I don't even really know yet, they're like, we're all pouring each other alcohol, right? Now here's the thing, that like alcohol goes against the word of wisdom, but here in Mongolia it's a communal activity, and if you won't participate in that communal activity, people in the community will feel rejected. They're like, oh, are we not good enough for you? Am I not good enough
of allegiance.
Well, I mean, like, even if I did not buy my wife's mother, like even something as small as like buying my wife's mother a bottle of alcohol, it's a symbol of respect. Had I not done that, she would have felt like she wasn't good enough for me, or I thought I was better than her, right? That would have been problematic. So that's another way too that Mormonism impacts people of other cultures, or even like tea. Tea is huge in Asia.
Yeah.
It's huge everywhere.
Yeah.
Get in the morning.
It's a community.
Tea and coffee.
And exactly. If you can't drink tea with your family's going to be like, are we like, does he think we're better than us? Are we not good enough for him because he's not drinking tea with us? You know, that's
Diamond
another
Dave,
way.
you need to stand up and tell him tea will kill you. Tea, coffee, preach it, brother.
No,
that's what I make in the morning.
I'm drinking
Randy,
alcohol right now, dude. Like, no. No.
That's what I make in the morning at work. Yeah. And I imagine Gene probably had some.
Making the iced tea, Chuck.
No.
Yeah, raspberry lemonade. I make it all.
And Black Priesthood. Chuck and I told you in the chat, and I think some others did too.
I'm sorry.
But man, your episode with Mormon Discussions was one of their absolute best, and you did the best job moderating.
Oh, you sure did.
Thank you.
And
Thank you. Thank you.
You did a great job, Black Priesthood.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And
Thank you. Appreciate it.
It was. I can't recommend it as being a pleasant episode, but it's a must-watch episode. If you have any essence of humanity in you, you watch that episode.
I would love to ask this question, just to do a little turn here. But I always grew up hearing that if you committed suicide, you were going straight to hell.
Yeah.
I heard that growing up myself.
Well,
Yeah.
but
That is not what is being taught right now.
Well,
that has been taught across all religions, through Judaism, Islam, Christianity, all
Abrahamic faiths. Yeah, Abrahamic faiths.
All the Abrahamic faiths.
Yeah, but now
Mormonism
there's
is not off of
overpopulation,
that.
so we actually want to thin people out.
To Randy's question, from what I'm seeing and from my time in from 2020 to 2024-ish, when if people are just joining, that's when I was a member for 4 years. They've backed off of that, and there's no, from what I'm seeing, and especially in the YSA wards in Provo and like my mid singles ward, which is 8th Oak Hills mid singles ward, they take more the approach that now, we leave that up for God to decide. God is all knowing, God is understanding, and God, takes all factors of a person's experience who commits suicide into account, right? But it is no longer said that I have seen that they go straight to hell. It's God is knowing, God's understanding, God will work it out. We don't know. That is what I'm seeing.
Well, that's an enlightened perspective. I'll give them that.
It's not enlightened, it's due to backlash.
Yeah, that's why.
Give them a bone, Dave.
Utah's high suicide rate among youth.
And it's all because of the church.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Tim.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, Tim,
Just a second, Chuck, for a second. There's so many things that church leaders don't know anything about, and they're but they know that women's shoulders were porn shoulders. They know that women could only have 2 earrings, and they're backing off of that now. But go ahead, Chuck.
Oh, okay. I know I was about to ask Tim a question, and at Black Priesthood, I'd asked you all as well. Are you all familiar with the affirmation group? The affirmation group.
Yes.
For those that they were,
Okay.
they were tracking suicides and LDS.
Yes.
Are they still around?
I'm not.
I don't know if affirmation is still around or not.
Okay, that was back in 2009 when I first heard of it.
I think it is. I think it's still around.
Okay.
But I don't know for sure.
No.
They were tracking
Their
suicides.
Their website still is up.
Oh, okay.
Well,
So-
and the Mormon Church is backing off a lot of its hard statements because it's trying to be more like mainline Christianity. And even mainline Christianity, because of the 44,000 different denominations, they aren't sure how to handle suicide either. Right? So because they're trying to be more mainline Christian, they're really backing off of more the peculiar aspects of them, quote unquote. Like Mormons went from we are a peculiar people to now we are just a Christian like the next guy down the road, right? So now they're backing off of things like like the race aspect, the being a god of a planet, which I'm going to be honest, if you want people to join your religion, giving them a planet when they die, that's a really cool thing. That's brand new. Like, go for that. Like,
Was that cool?
Randy's disappointed about that.
Galaxy.
But like one thing they haven't actually addressed, and this is another thing that goes into line with the show, is polygamy. Because even though they backed off of polygamy, they haven't. Because, for instance, for people in the chat and for people who are watching this who don't know, I'll use myself and my wife as example. If we were still Mormon, we were sealed in the temple, and my wife dies. I get sealed to another woman. The first sealing still applies. So I have 2 wives. But if I'm unhappy with my second wife, I get a legal divorce, and then I get sealed in a Mormon temple to a 3rd wife. While legally I'm married to 1 woman, according to the Mormon Church, I'm still sealed for all time and eternity to the woman that I divorced and my first wife that died. So I'm still sealed to 3 women. So polygamy still exists in the Mormon Church.
Dolly is married to 2 women.
Yeah.
So
thank you
about that.
So according to the Mormon beliefs, because he was sealed to 2 women, he's dead now. Well, guess what? He has 2 wives in the afterlife.
No, that was Nelson. Oaks too.
I'm sorry, Nelson. I'm sorry. But Nelson, yes, Nelson.
Oaks too, though. Oaks too.
Yeah. I saw it on Facebook today. I said, okay.
Hey, I've been looking at that. We've been talking about color, and I'm looking at Gene to my left and Tim and Dave to my right. I don't think I'm white.
Oh, you're definitely
I'm
white.
olive.
You're
I'm olive
definitely
skin.
white.
I'm olive, but
I see you smile and I expect you to start yodeling, sir. Okay, you are very white.
Yo,
I know it's just funny how white people, so many of them, including me, they kind of go after that, you know, the tan, the darker the better. My daughter, my adopted daughter, is black, and we have had so many discussions that it's funny. Some white people are racist and prejudiced, yet they go to the tanning bed every day trying to get darker and darker and darker. Are
that's
they
the
racist
strange thing.
or are they jealous?
They
Serious.
want they want to tan and they want to listen to the music. They love the music, but they want being prejudiced at the same time. They want to dance they want to get hip and all that, but yeah, and
Right.
be prejudiced at the same time.
Yeah. I
They
just
want the
know.
rhythm, but not the blues.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really ridiculous. And I grew up in a conservative farming town where everybody was Republican. Everybody, well, most were Mormon, and the racism there was just
I can imagine.
out of control because these rednecks think they're some kind of superior to
But
anyone.
Randy, they don't know any better.
I know they were taught.
That's
I
true.
was taught that same way.
That's what they talk.
But I pulled out of it because I realized what a bunch of shit it was.
Because you came from Mesa, Arizona, Randy.
Yeah, little Salt Lake, we called it.
Oh yeah, man, Arizona. You know they were the last to recognize the Martin King holiday.
Yeah,
They
That's
pulled
right.
things,
That's right.
activities out of there. Yes,
that's a good example. You're right.
yes,
Yeah, they didn't the whole time I lived there, they wouldn't celebrate it.
I used
Yeah.
to believe that if I was a sinner and I went into the bishopric's office, that he could tell that I was sinning. I would lie anyway, and then he would accept it. And I wondered if he knew that I was lying and just let me go,
Probably.
or if he believed my lie. I don't know.
I kind of agree with that because I did believe when I joined that, like the
Mm.
the leaders, the priesthood holders who had the keys, they had the power of discernment, right? They could discern things and they knew things, and it turns out they didn't. Some of them are just outright stupid.
Just guessing. It's just guessing.
Yeah.
I used to think they knew until I lied to them, and then they don't know any different than I do.
Yeah. We chatted about tattoos briefly.
Yes.
I wanted to say, so I'm taking two giant steps backwards. Jay Castro has one of the coolest tattoos I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Really?
He sent me a picture of him and his family, a few pictures,
Excuse me.
and he wasn't wearing a shirt. And I saw his tattoo, and it looked like stitches in a Y cut, like they do when they do an autopsy. And
Oh, like this?
anyone who's ever been close to the business, whether police or funeral, know that that's exactly what that is. The way they cut a Y in here and then all the way down, and just fold you open. And yeah, it was a cool tattoo. I would like to get that tattoo.
I have two tattoos.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have two.
Oh, what are your tattoos of?
One of them I have football on my chest. You know, I was on the football team in high school. I love football. I love sports, but I have football on my chest, and I have my nickname on my arm.
And your nickname is
And
what?
cursive. It's a Chuck. I just have my nickname Chuck on there.
Oh,
Chuck, I was telling you, my dad about
Yeah,
you
my name is
today.
my name is Ronald, but you know that Chuck came from my middle name is Charles. That's where it came from.
gotcha.
That was given to me at birth.
The tattoos?
I was telling
Can I ask how you got Chuck from Ronald?
No, that nickname. No, my folks were not. They're not tattoo people, and they saw doing that. They said, "Well, you sure that's what you want to do?" they said, "Think about you gonna have that on you."
Yeah, for a while. Huh?
Chuck,
Yeah.
I was telling you about my dad because my dad is really up to date with sports and sportscasters.
Yes.
When you talk about it, you remind me of him.
Okay.
Not because of age, Chuck, at all, but because you've the breadth of your knowledge.
Oh yeah.
And
Like when
I
I come off
talked
of
to
here
him today.
on Sundays, I'm on another broadcast. I leave for another broadcast when I come off of here. Yeah, you're right.
Well, you know so much, though.
I know
And
how to
I was
change up.
asking him about Burgess Owens and if he knew who he was, and he's like,
Yeah,
the
played the
name
Raiders.
sounds familiar, but he knew
Yeah.
the guy who converted him.
Yeah, Todd Christian, great tight end. May he rest in peace. He played at BYU.
Yeah, he knew
We
the
should
guy
do,
who
we
converted
should do a
him.
show called "What's Up, Chuck," and we just let Chuck just tell us all his knowledge.
Everything he knows.
I don't know about
And
Yeah,
I was
Todd
starting to
Christian's
tell him about
the
you, Chuck,
upset
because like all the stuff you know, and you know about like politics and music and schools.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Said I can talk religion like we're talking right now. I know how to change up. I know how to shift gears. Like I come off of here and go on
Same.
another broadcast. I shift to whatever they're talking about.
That's a good skill
Did
to
anyone-
have. I've learned
Yeah,
that many years
Songs
ago.
of Our Own, Summer Rain's dad. Exactly.
Yeah. I was gonna say that. I wasn't sure. Did anybody else learn in the church that it was evil to wear crosses or
Yes.
not approved?
Yes.
Yep, I did.
That's not
Yeah.
a thing now.
Not a thing now,
That's
but
coming
yeah.
back now.
Yeah.
They changed that too, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. You couldn't wear
That's
crosses.
what I like about this broadcast. That's what I like
Black
about this. I learned
Priesthood, do you
about
watch
about you.
You add
Black
so much,
Priesthood, do you
Chuck.
watch Rebecca Biblioteca? Because she's made a big point of that. As she was raised, like wearing the cross was the worst thing she could do, and now like the Mormons are all about crosses.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't
It's
I
on
didn't know they had
Google
crosses
Maps
in
too.
LDS.
they never have. That we were taught
They
it
never
was
had.
wrong to wear a cross. It's the symbol
Yeah.
of Jesus Christ. Come on.
Here I am. I was Baptist. I'm hearing all this.
No.
Yeah.
Chuck, you were Catholic schoolboy.
Yeah, I went to Catholic school, but I was a Baptist in Catholic school. I never was Catholic. I was born and raised Baptist. Yeah.
Living in the South.
So yeah, they
Yeah.
don't like the crosses. They use it on Google Maps now for a lot of their temples and stuff.
They do use that on Google Maps. I see it at those places of worship. They
Because
put the crosses on there so you know where it
they
is.
want to
Yeah,
be
you're
more
right,
mainstream Christian. They want to be more mainstream Christian.
I
It's not
noticed that
gonna
on
work.
Google Maps.
It's going to be hilarious when in Pakistan they start putting up crosses in like countries like Pakistan and whatever. That's going to be really, really funny. I'm looking forward to that.
They have missions in Pakistan?
They have two.
In Pakistan?
Sure. Yeah.
They have two
Wow.
what?
Google it.
2 missions in Pakistan.
What?
Yes.
I mean, they're in like I let me Google this. I want to say they're in Uzbekistan as well, but like Mormon missions, Pakistan.
There's only
Quick
2
Google search.
missionaries in Russia right now.
Yeah, so they only use native Pakistani members as full-time or service missionaries. They cannot send foreign proselyting missionaries. The first modern missionary presence began in 1970s and the 1980s. The church received official government
Everyone switched
registration
from
in
Islam
1995.
to Mormonism.
You'd be surprised.
Islam makes so much more sense. It's so much.
Well, you have to keep in mind, I mean, why do Hindus convert to Mormonism when it makes so much more sense? And that is in the
All
case
right,
of
good
Hinduism
point.
to get
Good
out of
point.
the caste system, to get out of persecution, to get out of the
Good
government.
point. That was a very ignorant thing I said. Thank you, Dave. Good point.
So I mean, but yeah, the Mormon church is all over. Now, how big they are is another story. But the point is, to what you guys were talking about with the crosses, they're going to have to put up crosses everywhere because they're a global church and they have to be consistent. So that's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out in some countries.
Yeah. Hey, Tim,
Yes.
you were talking about Russia. Is it true they said in Russia that that it's kind of in LDS that the Russians don't care for the LDS faith? Is that true?
That's why
They hate them.
there's only 2 missionaries right now in all of Russia. All of Russia, only 2 missionaries.
Well, one of the members of bishopric got arrested for
Recently,
for donating to the opposition party, so he's probably going to get executed.
Ooh, man.
Ever since BYU Pathways expressed support for Ukraine, Russia has designated the Mormon Church and its affiliates as a terrorist organization.
Yeah, I know. I've been hearing
That's
something like that
backwards.
anti-LDS.
And I mean, like, Russian nationalists just don't like anyone that's not Eastern Orthodox. So you have
Yeah,
that
no, it's
as
Eastern Orthodox in
culture.
that country.
Yeah. I know some Russian nationalists actually. They're pretty interesting people, but they don't like foreign religions going in their homeland. I can tell you that right
I can
now.
imagine.
There was actually a guy on Mormon Stories who talked about I forget his name, but he was interviewed within the past few months about going to Russia and how he was ambushed by Russian nationalists.
Ooh.
Russians
just
do
thought of that.
not like foreign religion showing up. Then again, most countries don't like foreign religion showing up, so it's not just a
Why
Russian.
would they? There's not a good track record.
It's colonialism.
No,
It is
basically.
colonialism.
You're right. You're right, Tim. You're right.
Like, they went and they scoured out England and Europe and anywhere they could from the 1800s through the 1900s, And then when I was on my mission in Germany, they're telling people, stay there, don't go to Utah. Stay in your country, strengthen the church there.
Yeah.
Well, there's, needless to say, there are so many falsities that have been taught, and maybe they weren't falsities at the time, but they are now. There's so many of them that people, they have to come out of this church screwed up.
Yeah.
Especially if they believe everything that they're told. That doesn't make for a happy person, and it doesn't make for a loving person either.
Well, you had the contradictions too between the Bensonites and the McConkieyites and the Smithites.
Yeah.
It depended on who your parents liked, which general authority they liked and they wanted to follow.
Yeah.
And how they were brought up. See, my parents were fast and loose pretty much. I mean, my father was inactive. He drank coffee and beer. My parents drank wine in Cusco. And my mother would give my sisters wine when they were in their periods. We drank tea, Coke.
What a rebel, Tim.
Yeah, I know. I mean, well, we go to church and we go fly sailplanes or go flying in the afternoon. I mean, yeah. And I listen to these like you, Randy, and others raised so strict in the church. I mean, that's just, to me, is an anathema. I mean, it's just bad.
Boy.
I mean, and I know some people in my ward were like that, but my family wasn't that way. I mean, my grandparents, my grandfather was a bishop of Kemmer, Wyoming for 20 years, and then he was the Cheyenne State Patriarch. They drank Pepsi and they played with face cards. They played canasta. We used to play bridge and canasta.
Okay.
No.
And And when I turned 12 in 1966, I spent the summer with my grandparents, and they had a state conference. And I don't know if it was Kimball or Lee that came, but he stayed with my grandparent, and they knew him. And this guy even drank Pepsi with them and played cards.
Pepsi.
It was like,
Pepsi's not as strong.
I mean, caffeine was controversial back in the day with Mormonism, but now you go to Utah, Provo, there is swig on every fucking street.
well,
corner.
they've opened up a place like that here in Bakersfield too, Mormons. I still need to go check that place out.
Swig, have you had swig before?
No, I
have.
won't. No. It's called. Let me see what it's called. It's called.
What the hell is it?
Don't give them
It's
your money,
soda, right?
Tim.
I'm not going to. It's called.
Swig is its own animal. It's
what's it called?
literally
It's called-
liquid
it's called-
sugar.
It's called Suck It Up. I'm just gonna go
Suck
check
It Up?
it out. Yeah, it's called
Yeah.
Suck
Okay.
It Up.
Yeah, if you ever have swig, don't have swig. I can tell you what it's like right now. It's like drinking soda that's really sweet, and you can feel the sugar grate on your teeth as you suck it through the straw.
I will not.
That is what swig is. I had a 32-ounce cup of swig, and I was drinking it. And I want to share, like I've said this before, but I'll say it again. After I finished the full 32 ounce of swig, my body had a sugar crash. I literally thought I was having a heroin withdrawal.
I believe it.
It is
I
that
believe
bad.
it.
It is that bad. Do not.
Well,
Oh, man.
okay. When we were at Sunstone, I don't drink coffee.
Mhm.
Okay, I had 2 cups of coffee and I had 2 cans of Coke, and I couldn't sleep Saturday night because I was so caffeinated.
Oh,
But I had to do it to stay awake because I couldn't sleep the night before, But I suffered.
Nice.
No, not nice.
yeah,
You know,
nice.
I mean, it was awful. No,
Tim, I
I
didn't.
can't.
I never. Now I have so much empathy for you. Why you're a hardened criminal? I didn't realize your parents played with face cards. But no wonder you're a criminal.
What? How did
His
y'all
parents
do?
also engaged in dancing too, right?
What foods did y'all?
What?
foods did y'all eat?
I grew up on a farm. It was meat for breakfast, lunch, dinner. Meat, roast.
We
pigs,
had-
all this stuff because we had.
We had. Well, okay. I grew up in L.A., so we had Italian and Mexican and Oriental. I had
okay.
I had a foster sister that was Chinese. She used to fix us Chinese food for dinner.
Okay.
So I grew up with all kinds of food, not just
Yeah.
one kind, but all
I
kinds.
just wonder because religions have the certain foods that they don't eat. Just like I'm looking at this guy right here. I'm reading this book. Rear Admiral Barry Black. He's chaplain of the U.S. Senate. You see him on television with his bow tie on. He's Seventh-day Adventist minister, and he's retired from the Navy. He was a chaplain, and he's a chaplain for the U.S. Senate, and he's a vegetarian.
Yes.
He's Seventh-day Adventist, so vegetarians and vegans.
Yes.
That's why I was asking what you all eat.
Yeah.
7-day
Yeah,
Adventists usually are vegetarians, if not vegans.
Yes.
Yeah.
Somehow
So,
Mormon bypass the food aspect of the word of wisdom, right? Imagine
Okay.
eating meat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner and dessert.
Okay.
But eat meat
Right.
sparingly,
Mormon
right?
don't pay
Black
attention to what Father
priesthood. Eat meat
Father-
sparingly.
That's right. No, the word of wisdom doesn't cover. They totally bypass that, right?
I was gonna say, I don't know how people are Mormons unless they're like weird in other cultures, right? Because it's like here in Mongolia, for instance, I can't imagine anyone giving up alcohol unless they had liver problems or they just didn't like the taste of alcohol, and then they could be Mormon. Everybody drinks here. Everybody.
I used to drink a lot when I was in my
Alcoholism is a
20s.
huge problem here, right? But it's like the word of wisdom to Black Priesthood's point, right? Eat meat sparingly. I can't see any. Well, I mean, Mormons don't even do that now. But even if that was upheld, I can't see people here giving up tea unless they just don't like tea. Right. Like,
And I make it in the morning.
yeah,
Isn't
and I
it
mean
an
that's
irony?
I
why
make
they
coffee
don't
and tea.
grow in other cultures at all.
Coffee and
because,
tea.
like,
Bulk in the mornings, Chuck.
I mean, they could, they can get a few members in other countries who maybe don't fit the norm, but the norm of the country doesn't fit with Mormonism like anywhere. It's just
No, it
interesting.
doesn't.
Isn't it ironic that what you're saying, Dave, is so true? Because growing up a Mormon, everyone was baking, everyone was making food, everyone was eating. You can't get together for a frickin' grave dedication without going back and eating somewhere. It's ironic to me that they list things in the Word of Wisdom Joseph came up with, and lists things that are really not that bad for you. Yet the Mormons have a horrible diet with all of.
Oh, you're a vegetarian, so
This is why the Japanese live longer. They drink tea
okay.
and insane amounts of alcohol.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
they live to be
agree.
100.
Coffee has been found now. I just did a video on it that it really up to 5 cups of coffee a day is heart healthy and helps your arteries stay clear. Yet they'll suck down. The Mormons will suck down Monster energy drinks till the cows come home.
And that's one thing I don't touch too much, Randy. Got to be careful with
Right?
that one.
No
Well,
kidding.
and I mean, to Randy's point,
And I'm not
so
even
to
in
Randy's
that
point,
in these faiths.
to Randy's point, when I was living in America, I would wake up with massive headaches, and they would be like, "You might have sleep apnea. You have thicker blood because you had COVID. I have thick blood, by the way, right? And so that can lead to like severe migraines, and
Yeah.
because like not enough oxygen, right? And like in Mormonism, they're like, well, just pray about it, and they might do a blessing. When I moved to Mongolia, you know what they said? They're like, okay, you have thick blood, eat healthy, have some beer, because alcohol is a blood thinner. Have a
I used
couple
to drink a
beers a
lot of
day.
that in my 20s
And my dietitian, actually, I have a dietitian, and she told
and
me,
30s.
she said, yeah, she told me alcohol's a blood thinner because of your situation. Have a couple beers a day. That's it. Just a couple beers a day, you'll live longer. You won't have a heart attack. You won't have you're less likely to have a heart attack or stroke because alcohol. And you know what? That's against the word of wisdom. But I don't remember the last time I had a migraine like that.
Well, beer
that's good.
is against the word of wisdom, actually. This is another thing that the church had never told us. But Joseph Smith listed alcohol save beer. Beer was okay. The barley drink,
I'm just learning something.
all he said was hot liquids.
Well, my understanding of what
And homemade
being
wine.
taught now is all alcohol is against the word of wisdom, is what I've seen and heard when I was a member.
Right? That's because they don't want you taking it literally and actually reading what he wrote, Joseph Smith wrote. But he loved his beer so much, he was sure to say alcohol is bad, but barley drinks made of barley are fine.
Well,
Are
excuse
good.
me, Randy, for taking the words of the restored gospel of Jesus Christ seriously.
That's
Like you did. Excuse me for actually thinking like we should listen to this. Okay?
That's where you get in trouble, Dave.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
the Catholics drink the priests and all, and they have them a beer and wine or whatever, and they smoke cigarettes, cigars, and whatever. I remember that from my going to Catholic school. They use actual wine for communion. They use the actual wine and water it down, and they have the unleavened bread, and they put things into the chalice, what they call a cup. They put those cups. They
The
call it
communion
chalices.
wafers.
Yeah, they call it unleavened bread. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just wild that Mormonism touts because it likes to brag about, oh, well, if you live the word of wisdom, you'll be healthier than everyone else and you'll live longer. It's like, no, like people in Japan, like the people in Mongolia, they live longer on average than people in America, and they smoke, they drink. My wife's grandmother, who's 93, she smokes and drinks more than I do, and she still works. She's still going strong. Right? She's
What
not
did you do
slowing
for
down.
work, Dave?
She is Mongolia's #1 eye doctor. So
Oh,
she's
okay.
like she's an eye doctor. There's a couple other eye doctors we have in the family who they not only like
Oh,
prescribe
wow.
glasses, but they
I
actually
become
do
acquainted with
surgery.
a eye doctor myself, who's LDS. He's in
No.
ministry there, and he optometrist, and he like I said, he's great with the eyes. He can see illnesses in your eyes. He's great at doing that.
Yeah,
I had to
my
commend
wife's
him for that.
my wife's grandmother's like that. My wife's grandmother actually told me what kind of prescription glasses I have just by holding them and looking at the thickness of them.
Wow.
She's been doing it
Hmm.
since she was like 20, so she's got like 70 years of experience. So we're making time for me to go
Wow.
with her. But yeah, but that's the thing. It's like in other countries, people who drink tea, people who drink hard liquor, like in Japan, they live longer than people who adhere to the word of wisdom. You know, it's wild to me. But I guess that's when it comes to colonialism and things we are taught, we believed about Mormonism that aren't true. I don't know. Like I believe like adhering to the word of wisdom would be good. And you hear people like Jacob Hansen talk about how if you follow the Mormon way of life, you're happier and you have a lower divorce rate.
He's crazy.
Why?
I finally saw
But-
Jacob Hansen, man.
But in countries like India, the divorce rate is less than 1%. What is it in America among Mormons? Like compare
50%.
Mormons in America. Yeah, 50. Why is that?
Well,
Is
it's because
Mormonism
they
the
tell
middle
you-
way?
They tell the missionaries to come home, get married right away. This is what they used to tell us. Get married right away, do not linger, and start your family.
I'm in Mongolia. The
And you
divorce rate
tired, and they want you to come
30%.
and do all these things. Oh gosh.
I mean, like here in Mongolia, among
Being away all
non-Mormons,
that time.
among like atheists, it's about 30%, 30 to 35%. It's really low. Now, granted, because it's more modern, yeah, it's increased a bit, but it's really low compared to Mormonism.
Yeah. Well, by their fruits ye shall know them, right?
No,
That's right.
The church is not producing quality fruit, in my opinion, and the good fruit falls off the tree right away. As soon as they get home from their mission, pretty much.
Yeah, I imagine you worn out, and then they want you to do all these things. I know being away all those years. How many years do y'all? It says like 2 to 3 years that you all do mission work.
2 years.
2 years. Okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
Man,
Well,
I know
and
you
the
are worn
thing-
out, and they want you to do all these things.
So
and when
I
you get
never
home-
served a mission.
no.
I never served a mission, but Randy has an interesting point. By your fruits you shall know them, and the good fruit falls off. Right. And I was thinking about that because one of the things we like to do is like gardening, and we want to like live on a farm one day. And I remember my mother-in-law saying, like, because we were like, there's some bushes by our house that we like pick berries from. And she was teaching us to like always look for the berries that fall on the ground because they are fully developed. If they are still on the branch, or if they are still like connected to the plant, inspect them because the chances are they're not ready yet.
Yeah.
There you go. It's so true. The proof is in the pudding, and the church has come up with some pretty rancid pudding. Well, it's always been. It's just that now it's coming forth. People are starting to research, and these people on my TikTok channel, which is just growing faster than I can believe, but they always come back with that's a complete lie. When I put something up, I've explained to them, I'm putting up things that I would have loved to have known when I was a member of the church.
Yeah,
And so
you
I
lived
put
it.
something up and I give the reference so they can read it. And in my description, I even print it out. And yet they don't look at that. They see.
Well, some of them are bots, and then I mean, young people don't read descriptions, right? And that's kind of the problem. And also, too, and this is where I want to give some grace to Mormons my age and younger. It's when your lived experience is very different than what you hear, right? And this is something I've had to work on, and you guys have got to watch me work on this, many of you in the chat, right, is you get to watch me like see my lived experience completely conflict with like Randy's experience. But the initial reaction is, that's not what I've seen. That's not what my bishop told me. My parents never said that. So when you have that kind of like lived experience that conflicts, the gut reaction is, I am being attacked, therefore that's a lie.
Right.
So I do have some, and I'm going to be very specific, some grace for Mormons my age and younger, because lived experience is a powerful thing. And they may have spiritual experiences that have kept them into church. Fine, cool, whatever. However, I will say this from someone who has traveled to different countries and from just my own personal experience is, in order to verify your experience, you must compare it to that of others and to that of our elders. Because to know history is to make sure it is not repeated. Right? So
Right.
to understand history, like if you believe in a religion, you should know its history regardless of what your lived experience is.
Yeah, I agree.
So I encourage anyone who is a Mormon my age or younger to really listen to Randy and other people who have lived that, and just consider that may not be your lived experience, but
it's
that's
mine.
their lived experience. So let's
Right.
compare the two and let's learn from each other.
Yeah.
That's my invitation.
Gene
That-
and all
that's
that.
Learn
That's
from
a great point, Dave. That is a great point. But in Mormonism, it is hardwired into the algorithm that whatever makes the church look bad, it feels like we're living in George Orwell's 1984 memory hole.
Oh,
The
yeah.
church
Big Brother's watching you.
vigorously, yep, the church vigorously buries. I'm betting that in another generation, you would have members that vigorously argue that the priesthood ban never happened, that Brigham Young didn't know that. Thank you. Thanks to the internet, you can't delete these things anymore. But there will be people arguing that Brigham Young didn't make those statements,
right.
that Nanny
Yeah,
James
I'm
never,
gonna have it.
or she was never, she was never sealed to Joseph Smith as a slave. All of that to say that this church actively buries the truth. It doesn't want the truth to be known about its history and doctrine. And
I
so
can
there
imagine.
will come a future where future generations will not know church history.
Well, and think about it this way too, to Black Priesthood's point, right? I'm talking about like with my experience, I've talked about kind of listening to Randy's and Tim's experience, and that's completely different what I lived. But like when it comes to, I've mentioned before on the podcast that in the YSA and my mid-singles ward, some women wore bikinis and other women judge them for wearing bikinis, and it's kind of like a mix, right? I guarantee you 5 years from now, go ahead and clip this. 5 years from now, there will be people that said, I am lying about my own experience about some women wearing bikinis and other women judging them. Because
Exactly.
their experience is everyone's going to wear bikinis. Right? You know what I mean? That's going to be their experience. They're not going to see the judgment that I saw. They're not going to see the transition state that I saw, which is completely different than what Randy saw or Tim saw, right?
Yeah.
I guarantee you, if you were to ask Tim, like if we go back 20 years, right? So I'm back in America. You were to ask Tim and Randy 20 or Rebecca Biblioteca, women in the chat, go back 20 years ago and ask them, are the tank top garments ever going to happen? They would have laughed you out of the
Oh,
church.
yeah, right.
Right?
They would have laughed you out of the church. Maybe you might have found someone that was like, no, that's silly. Why would you think that? We would never do that because we believe in modesty. 20 years ago, nobody would have thought tank top garments would have been a thing.
That's true.
Right? 20 years
true.
from now, people might watch this and be like, oh, Diamond Dave was in from 2020 to 24. That's not my lived experience. He must be lying.
Yeah.
Well,
Right?
like I was
It's
saying,
the
my family
invitation
was
to learn together. It's like, hey, let's bring our personal experiences together.
like
And
my
that's kind of
family was
Ash's.
fast and loose. And then you hear, like Rebecca, when I hear Rebecca tell her story, I cringe, I mean, my parents would never do that. They taught us how to just fight for ourselves.
Well, and that's the thing too. And it's like, I guarantee you that, like, it kind of goes both ways because of lived experience, right? Because when I talk about going to Provo and seeing, BYU Mormons wearing bikinis, I'm pretty sure there's going to be older Mormons in the chat who live in, like, Vermont. They'll be like, you're lying. You know what I mean? I don't see that. You're lying. My response is, let's go. I'll give you my old address. Right? Let's go.
Yeah.
So let's take the lived experience of things that, like the topic of the channel, which is things we believed when we were Mormon but found out were not true. Let's take our lived experience and what we believe and let's put it together. Because if Mormonism wants to go to mainstream Christianity, Jesus himself said, "Come, my brothers, let us reason together." And this is why in the New Testament the apostles fought all the time, was because they took their lived experience, they took what Jesus taught, and they debated and they argued and they presented those arguments and their lived experiences to find and seek truth. And if Mormonism is true, then you should be seeking truth. And that means comparing your experiences with others. And that is the end of my rant.
All right.
Well,
Probably a good
it's
place to
timely.
stop.
It's timely, Dave, because we've been going for a couple hours now, and
Yeah.
we will continue to go. Any of you who would like to come onto the after show, would love to have you. But for now, I want to tell all of you how much Tim and Gene and I love and appreciate each of you. And
All of you.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
we are very grateful that you come on and participate and come into the chat. You're an integral part of this show, and we really appreciate it. And on that, I just want to remind you, drop in for our Sunday news show, the Salt Lake Expositor, with Jessica Frankel and Gene and I. We have some really interesting topics coming up. And once again, thank you for being here, and we'll see you next week. Tim, thank you for letting us use your living room.
You're welcome. This
Thank
has been
you, Tim.
fun.
Yeah.
Bye,
This
guys.
has been interesting to watch where it went tonight.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Thank you, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.